Unlock funnel success. 5 key questions to ask yourself. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. You are at Move to CEO MTV show, and we are live in a lot of different places. So when you start to see us live, just let us know #live. And if you're catching the replay, #replay. And I am excited to introduce. Well, she was like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here."
It's dark around here, so we're just trying to.
Kai is Kai is actually making her desk go up at the same time, I think. My name is Tessa. I'm a marketing strategist, and this is Kai, who's a business coach. And we bring the best advice possible to you every single week on Thursdays. And today we're talking about funnels because this is so critical to your business. If you aren't using a funnel yet, I have to say this is one of the best ways for you to scale your business. And Kai talks about this a lot, but being able to scale your business is critical.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends. If you prefer to spend all of your time chasing leads, nurturing leads, all those great things, which they're not bad, but at the end of the day, you didn't create a business so that you could have a job. You created a business so that you could have more impact, so that you could have freedom, so that you could kind of make your own choices and do something that you love while also helping other people. So, with that in mind, how we build our businesses has a lot to do with whether or not we can actually fulfill those dreams and those, the whole reason that you started a business to begin with. So
that's true. And you're probably, if you don't have a funnel, you're probably feeling that stress of doing everything over and over and over. Like there's no process to what you're doing. So if you can ask yourself these questions and to see if you do already have a funnel. This might be self-assessing if the funnel is working. If you don't have a funnel, this is going to help you put into perspective what things you need to figure out. And don't worry, we have a solution at the end that will help you with all of this. So don't get stressed. If you're starting to get stressed, let us know. Take some deep breaths and we'll come to the end. We're going to make sure that you guys have the resources that you need to be able to do this. So you have 5 questions for us.
5 questions, correct?
Yes, 5 questions.
Right. So if you don't know, you've never seen us live before, Tessa typically keeps me in line. So I will let her lead me and I will just follow.
Yes. No, this is perfect. Well, the first question is, do you have a strategy? Number 1, do you have a strategy?
Yeah. So while she's bringing that up on the screen, this is so important because what happens is when we build our business, right? All of us can attest to this. You build your business and the first thing you're thinking about is how do I make money, which is great. But then what happens is, okay, so I know that I need this, and I know that I need this, and I know that I need this. So we're creating all of these different pieces that don't actually fit together. And then we wonder why it's so difficult to get somebody from here to here to here. And it's because when we created it, we were thinking more in a vacuum, like here's the lead magnet, here's the nurture sequence email, here's the offer. Like it was all in its own separate isolated vacuum. And really, when you have a strategy, the whole purpose is to look at all of it and how they actually fit together. So you don't just have pieces of a puzzle from different puzzles, but you actually have a puzzle that comes together to create the picture that you're trying to create, right?
Yes. And your client, the people that you're talking to, the leads, when you have all these different pieces from different puzzles, like it doesn't make sense when they see it. So they can't possibly convert if you don't have a strategy and if you don't have this cohesive plan.
Exactly. And so, you have to intentionally create your path to profit. And so we have a path to profit model, right? But basically, wherever you're at, however you're doing it, you really need to figure out what is, the end goal and then work your way backwards. And even though I tell people this, I'm going to be very honest with you. We tell people this, we train them on this, they come back and I'm like, okay, well, I don't understand. How did this lead to this? And they're like, well, doesn't it? I'm like, you have to be really understand what are you trying to do for your audience? Like, what is the goal at the end of the day. And then you work your way backwards from not just how do I get them from offer or from, I'm sorry, from a coming in lead to sale, but how do I build a journey? So it's not just the sale part. You really have to understand what is the knowledge that we have to be sprinkling in between. What are the objections that you have to be addressing? What are kind of some of those gaps, right, that they don't have at the moment that they need to have in order to be with you and do this program or to buy your offer, whatever that is. It's not just, okay, here's a lead, here's a sale. There's so much that goes in between. And I'm sure that you already know it, but for most of us as experts, we actually don't see that, right? In our
Right.
mind, it's logical. It makes sense. Well, obviously you have to do this to do this. But for your person, your muse is what we call them, your target audience, they don't have the same knowledge in their brain that you have. So you really have to suss it out and figure out what is that. So you have to be very intentional about what your path to profit looks like.
Yes, and I think that you have to come from the perspective of your client. That's a lot of what Kai's saying. It may not make sense from their perspective. So when, have someone who doesn't know what you do at all go through what you're doing and see if it ends up in the same place. For them, we had a team member who didn't even know, worked with us for a long time. We were doing events, and she actually at one point was like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what you guys do. What? I had no idea this whole time. Like, we weren't making it clear to her, and she was on our team. How hard would it have been for the audience to really get the big picture of what we were doing? We were just doing too many things and having too many different eggs in too many different baskets entirely, not even like a same basket. They were just very different. So I think come from the perspective of your audience, which is great for number 2, which is, do you have magnetic messaging?
Yes. So this is something a lot of us think about our messaging because we're told to think about our messaging, which I think is great. And so how do you actually decide or know if your messaging is magnetic? So, 2 things to think about is, are people raising their hands? So when you are putting a post out there, when you are, saying whatever it is you're saying, are people engaging? Are they engaging in the comments or in the DMs, right? So those are the things to think about for magnetic messaging. But magnetic messaging is really a reflection of how well you know your audience and how well you know your offer, right? And so if you go back to one of our episodes I think it was last week, we were talking about the offer and how oftentimes we just think of the offer as kind of like this one thing, like, I'm a coach, so you're in my thing, you're going to be coached, right? Like, that's what you're buying. Like, it seems simple. And the reality is that it's not just, that's not the offer, right? So the offer is so much deeper than just kind of that top level of what you are selling. And so the better you know your offer, the better your messaging is. And then it leads you into actually question number 3, which were,
Yes,
that
I'm going to pull that up too. But I have to say one thing before we go, and then we'll lead into the other one. But think of magnetic as pulling, attracting, pulling them in. It's almost like you've got this force field on them. They want what you have. So that's a big, big difference between just messaging and magnetic messaging. And also, like you said, leading into the next one, which is maybe repelling some.
So, 100%.
Yeah, so that magnet, if you flip it the other way.
For people to do is repel. And, I was witness to this. We are a part of a mastermind. And in the mastermind, one of the people in it, when we had our mastermind this past week, was saying, well, I don't want to repel people. And in the comment, I put, that is 75% of your messaging job is to repel people. And there's so many reasons for this, and we can't really dig into it today. If you guys want us to really get into that, let us know in the comments. Then we'll know, hey, this is something that's actually interesting to you. But your job when you're messaging is not to attract everyone. It's to attract the right ones. And that's something that I think we forget a lot of times because we're so afraid. We come from a scarcity mindset of, well, if I say this, it's going to make that nobody else wants to come to me. And then what if I don't get business from these people? If you serve these people, really well. Like, you know, these people, you can speak their language. You will only get more and more of those people. And then people will, and the great thing about that is then you shine. And then other people who aren't necessarily these people will still want your services, but they will
They do.
understand where your genius is. And so they're not going to try to get you to fit into their box, but they are going to try to see how you can help them from your genius. And that is really what people miss a lot of times. Most of us do this, especially in the beginning of our business. We're so afraid that if we say this, nobody's going to respond. But the
Well,
reality
and
is, the clearer you are, then people know, hey, that's actually for me. That's
mhm.
they're speaking my language. That's 100% how I feel. Yes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we work with female entrepreneurs. We also have, we have groups for co-ed. It doesn't have to just be females, but that's where we shine. We know that women need the support. They need organization and that support
Mhm.
of a mastermind environment. And then now, we actually are so specific, and we've gotten even more detailed to say, hey, we have to be who we are, and we are Christian based, faith based ourselves. Like,
Yeah,
that's our business. And so that helps to attract the people that really want that, and maybe want that coaching from that perspective. It just means, I think, how do you put it, Kai? You reserve the right to not be offended
yeah,
if you want to work with us. Absolutely. And we have lots of people who work with us that's not what they are, but they appreciate those values of our business.
right, right.
So, all right. So we've got, so that was, do you have qualifiers is
Yeah.
number 3. So we're going to say, take out some of the people that aren't a perfect fit.
Yeah, and here, let me just give you guys this. Like, for a lot of you, you probably do discovery calls, or you do something where you are taking time to meet people. So let me just put it this way. If you are not putting in the right qualifiers, you probably notice that because you are having all of these calls with people who aren't actually buying, number one, but also
Yes.
really aren't your people. So you're getting on the call, they're nice. I mean, it's great to know people, love to network, but they are not the people that you are trying to have this discovery call conversation with. So I don't want to say you're wasting your time, because it's always great to know other people, but you could be spending your time in more sales conversations versus in more networking conversations if you have the right qualifiers. So just something to think about. If you find that your sales process is hard and you're often talking to a lot of the wrong people, you probably don't have the right qualifiers in there at the moment.
I love it. I love it. And that's to attract and filter leads. And your system can do this for you if you are strategic and you put the right questions in your form for them to book with you, or in your first lead generator. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. And the next one I'm going to say is it this? Do you have a repeatable and scalable process? I'm going to put the one on the screen will be way shorter.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, do you have a repeatable process?
Yeah. And here's the thing is, so when we basically, what we do in our mastermind program, however you want to call it these days, all of the fancy words that we use for our program. So basically, when we help people in our group program, they come in, we help them with their messaging, the magnetic messaging, what is this, all of these things, and then on the back end, we're actually building their funnel for them.
Yeah.
So a part of what happens, right, is they have to figure these pieces out, which we're coaching them through. They give it to us. We're, fixing it, making sure it works. Then we build out a funnel for them. And in that, two of the things that are super important in this funnel is that you should have a lead faucet, right? Something you can turn on and off, right? So you shouldn't have to go to the well that's a mile away every single day whenever you need a sale, and then put your bucket down a 2-mile hole, and that, right, the faucet, the water should be coming to your house.
It's already plumbed to your house. You need the plumbing.
Right, and that's part of the pipeline's job. So you need to have your lead faucet, and you also need to have a lead pipeline, and that lead pipeline takes the cold water from the well and makes it warm, gets it hot, so when you turn it on, they are ready to buy. That is essentially
Oh,
what that works like, right? And so a lot of times we have the pieces. So we have the well, we have the bucket, we have the legs to walk and go over there. But it's not all, we're still getting it, and they're cold. Like there isn't like a lot, like if I'm walking, maybe it's starting to warm up as I walk back over to my sink, but also maybe I'm losing some water from my
you're spilling all over.
evaporating. Maybe by the time I get there, now it's lukewarm and not that tasty anymore, right? So these are things to think about. Is really what you need is you need a repeatable and scalable process where you can turn on the faucet, and that pipeline has already been getting people ready without you having to start from the beginning again. Let's start over. Let's get you over to the stove. Let's boil you up. That sounds horrible. You know what I'm talking about, guys. So let's not get crazy here. But you know what I'm saying. So
yes, absolutely.
Think about, if you want to scale your business and you want to go beyond just the time that you have, then you really need to think about, is this something that I can do over and over again? Is there a way for me to streamline it? Is there a way for me to nurture people while I'm sleeping? What can I do so that I can constantly get people from the well into the source at my house and turn on that faucet whenever I'm ready? Right.
Yes.
And whenever they're ready, that's really what it comes down to, is both of you have to be ready at the same time. And so what is that process that is repeatable and scalable, so it's not only one person at a time that is ready for you? Because sometimes you have more capacity or you want to create more impact, but you can't do that if you are not creating an actual process that you can repeat over and over again. And not just the repeat over and over again, but actually works over and over again.
Yes, optimized. It's the exact optimal way for people to travel, so that they're cutting the process down too. Like, you're helping them all throughout this whole thing. You are serving. You have a calling. You're serving and helping. And so this helps you to deliver that result, the end result, even better. So it's snowballing, because the more of the right people are coming into you, more are happy. Your testimonials are attracting even more that are the right fit. But what I have to say, I hear a lot of people say, I need something that's selling for me 24/7. This is that thing that can be selling, that can be nurturing, that can be getting people ready for you. And when you offer a new program or project, again, you put them through. Again, you're going to have many funnels over the course of your business. So the fun thing is, though, that we have, well, let's see, did I get them all? Am I missing? Oh, you need the conversion. You got to turn it into money.
Yeah. And what is the conversion? We all know what the conversion is, especially if you've been in business for longer than 2 years. How do you get a lead, and how do you get them to buy? That's your conversion. But what is your conversion plan? And here's the thing is, we all have this, so let's just pretend you were a great student today. You went back and you did 1 through 4. Okay. So you created the strategy, you created the magnetic messaging, you've got qualifiers in place, you have a repeatable and scalable process. But now here's that conversion plan. And here's where a lot of us kind of miss the boat, is we have this strategy, right? So we got them in from the well, and they're in our pipeline, they're coming out, and we're turning that faucet on, and they've come. Now they're in a discovery call or whatever it is, a planning session with you, whatever that might be. And then they're not ready. So they were hot. They were ready because they're ready to be with you. But perhaps a circumstance happened that is preventing them at this point from being ready to buy at this moment. They want it. Right? How many times have you gotten on a call with somebody and you're like, I really want this, I just really can't afford it, or I really don't have the bandwidth, or I really don't have the time right now. I want it. And so now it's on your bucket list, which is a great place to be. You always want to be that bucket list business, right? That thing that people put into their, this is my dream, I want this, I'm going to get it, right? And so, but here's the thing is, what's your conversion plan? Because your conversion plan only led you to that discovery call. But now what? Right? So Do you have a plan to nurture those who are slower? Because sometimes it does take people, even though they are ready to buy, there are many obstacles in their own life, in their own head, that they also need to get over. Now,
Yes.
if you find that a lot of your people that come to you that are saying, hey, not right now, but yes, and they're all saying it for the same reasons, then you understand that that is something that you need to start addressing earlier on in your pipeline, so that when they come to this point, they are now hot and ready to buy, not just hot and so excited to talk to you and all those things, but they are hot and ready to buy because they've already gotten out of their own way. Right?
Yes.
So
Yes, conversion plan. And I just have to say,
yeah.
because I'm going to show this super quick because we have about 8 more minutes before we have to hop, but this is a good representation of conversions and how much they affect how many leads you have to have. And I think I like to bring this up because a lot of people, whatever your goal may be, if it's 100,000, if it's 20,000, whatever it might be, you're going to have to sell a certain number. And you guys, if you want this, just put audience growth calculator and we'll send it over to you. Just put it in the comments. Yes, this is the awesome way to look at how many leads you're going to have to get. If you're converting the average on social media, if you're relying 100% on social media to be your sales tactics and your lead, I mean, that's 0.5% are converting for people. You would have to have 40,000 leads. 40,000 in your audience essentially to make this happen. That's just insane to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of leads. If you're converting at 20%, you're doing a better job on that lead on your sales funnel. You're doing a better job converting them at the end. You need 1,000 leads. So it's just a big eye opener for a lot of people when they realize these numbers and how much a funnel can actually help you sell, because it's building that worm, it's warming them up, it's hot by the time they come out. You've got to have this kind of thing in your head already ready to go. So we have a special workshop. I'm going to stop that so I can see you bigger. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So we have a special workshop. It is free. And you can go take it. We want you to come. We want you to learn. We want to give so much information that you're like, wow, why do they give us this much? That's our belief that we can do that, right, Kai? Because there's plenty in the world. We want to give you our expertise. Can you tell them a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So on day one, we'll plan out your funnel. So if you have a funnel, you're like, I already have a funnel, then don't worry, because there's still something there for you. Because if you have a funnel and you're coming, it may be because your funnel is broken. So as you're planning your funnel, you can really figure out, is this working or is it not? What does that look like? And so on the other side of that is, on day 2, we're going to talk about filling your funnel. So what are the strategies to fill your funnel? And here's just a hint. It isn't about doing whatever the latest, greatest trend is, because then that means you're literally changing strategies every single time. And that is not the goal. That's not making it scalable and repeatable if you're constantly changing strategies. Yes, you will have to once in a while pivot or whatnot, but that shouldn't be your strategy, is to change your strategy. That's not a strategy. Okay, that is, you have commitment issues. And we need to think about that. But for us, we would love for you guys to come. As we said, we are Christian based, so we do come from a place of generosity and more. So when we speak to you, we don't worry, you're not going to get preached to or anything like that.
Actually, there's no selling on, right? There's no preaching or selling on these workshops. Like, that's not our style. Preaching is not how we do it. It's just how we run our business, and you can join us. Yes. And Kai has a prayer room. So if anybody does want that part, there is a prayer room that you can go to. but I do want to.
Oh, go for it, Tessa.
No, you go ahead.
This is what happens when you're in virtual rooms, that we can't be next to each other. And so it's kind of late. But no, I just wanted to say we would love for you all to come. If anything, this event, we are doing it a little bit differently because we only want the people in the room who are really serious about creating their funnel, so that the conversation is not something where somebody's checked out doing something else. So, just keep that in mind. We're not trying to have a big event. We're trying to have a great event. So we would love for you to come. We would love for this to be impactful for your business and to really help you start thinking about how you're going to build that funnel in your own business, or how you're going to kind of revive your funnel if you already have one.
Absolutely. And it is, I put the link in the chat. You can go check it out. It's September 25th and 26th from 2 to 5 each day. It is a lot of information. We're going to pack it in. We have tools and resources for you. And it's an implementation, like Kai said, this is doing. So we want you to be committed. You do breakout rooms, you brainstorm, you actually get work done. So you're planning it and you can actually go create a really awesome funnel. So we'd love to see you there. It's in the chat. It's movetoceo.com/PFL. And I'm going to put it on the banner real quick as Kai wraps this up. We usually do a toast. So I'm hoping that Miss Kai has a toast ready for us. So free event. Okay, so that's the link. Go check it out. And we'd love to have you all there. And I'm going to get my cup. Okay, I'm ready.
So here is to more money with less struggle.
Woohoo! Cheers! See you all there.
Bye.
Bye.